Good day, guys and gals. Today's video I'm going to do based on a question that was on the Black Hills page from Thomas West. His question was, myself and a group of UTVs are coming in June for 4 days and staying just south of Lead. What is a good trail or trails to ride that'll be fun and scenic? Maybe something through the monuments. So this first video, just so I can kind of answer his question, and then anybody else that will have a question later about that area for riding. Basically, I'll start with the monuments part. It's pretty simple. As far as the monuments go, you're talking Mount Rushmore, you're talking Crazy Horse, you're talking Devil's Tower, any of those kind of actual monuments. They're not really up in that area except for Devil's Tower is out in Sundance on Highway 14. So obviously getting from that area down to the Keystone Hill City area, you take 385 south down to 16, and you can go to Hill City where 385 continues. That's the most direct route to get to Crazy Horse and Mount Rushmore. To also get to Mount Rushmore, you can go and take 16 back to Keystone, and then get on 244 that way. So just a couple different thoughts, and then as far as Devil's Tower goes, Sundance out in Wyoming on Highway 14. Otherwise, you can go up 85 and hit up to Aladdin and hit 34 across, and that turns into 24 in Wyoming, and that takes you to Devil's Tower coming from the east. So just different little things to think about. The farther north you get, the farther you are from those main monuments. Now, obviously, there's all kinds of mines and stuff and ghost towns everywhere in the Black Hills, but since he specifically said monuments, I just wanted to hit on that part first off. So then second would be the trails up in that area. So obviously the most popular and the biggest trail system up in that area is obviously Camp 5, which is the most technical trail system that the hills has to offer as far as the rock climbing and rock crawling scene goes. Most of the trails up there are unlimited for restrictions as far as width goes. They do have times of the year that they're open or closed, so you got to make sure you find out on Avenza or your mapping system what to use. A gal said something the other day about her national forest maps that she uses, the black and white ones. I'm going to tell you guys right now, do what you guys want, but get rid of the black and white maps. I know they give those to you when you get your permits every year. They kind of have to. That way they can say, hey, if you get lost, at least you have them. I usually keep them, so that way if we get pulled over by Forest Service personnel and they ask for them, we have them. But I usually get the National Geographic ones that are colored and laminated. You can buy those. I think they're $11.99 for the north and $11.99 for the south. And then obviously I have Avenza on all of my stuff, tablets, phones, even on spare phones like my wife's phone and wife's tablet. So Avenza is what I like to use the most, just because it's right there. You don't gotta getting this 3 foot by 4 foot map out to look. This is obviously Avenza for the Northern Hills, a little bit here. So basically, and this is just me looking off at Avenza, but a lot of this it's all by memory. So it's one of those kind of things that Camp 5 is about 6 miles east of Deadwood, the intersection of 14 and 85. It's a trailhead, so there's places to park, nice sized trailhead. So you can bring trailers in there. It's got plenty of room. Camp 5 is nice and rocky. It does have the tendency to have quite a nice little stream that goes through it, just depending on snow and water consumption that we get for the year. Not a lot of speed trails through there. It ain't going to really be your area where you're going to get up and see how fast you can go from 0 to 60. It's going to be a lot of nice. There's Bear Den Mountain Lookout up there. It's one of my favorite spots to go. And it's got two different trails. There's a steep straight up and down one, and then there's one that kind of winds back and forth. It's a little bit more of a less dangerous trail, but I kind of like going up there. And then with that trail system, it can lead you right down to Galena too. And then once you get to Galena, obviously you can kind of go anywhere. You can go to over to Piedmont and Dalton Lake area, and then you can find yourself in Nemo. Kind of just riding that eastern part of 385 all the way down through, and you can go down as far as Sheridan Lake and or 16 intersects down there at Three Forks. So it just all kind of depends on where a person wants to ride. Lead and Deadwood do have quite a few FSRs up in there that do lead to some private quarries that a person can check out. We were there in September and did some riding up in that area. And most of the time you don't get bothered. You know, that takes to the Terry Peak area. It's kind of a nice area. I mean, they're glorified gravel roads is what they are. But if you're looking for stuff to ride, there's plenty of stuff up in that area as far as FSRs go. So otherwise, obviously, if you're just south, like Thomas West is saying they're going to be south of Lead, you get in that steel wheel area and whatnot. So they just, from there, your routes and your trailheads just open up. Pilot Knob, you get into Riley Hill. So I mean, it's all kinds of stuff that you can open up. But just even when you get 5 miles south of Deadwood and Lead, it opens up a lot. So I would encourage anybody and everybody to get a Venza, even if you don't use it out there. It's something it's something that's very nice to have on your phone. That way, anytime you want to look at it, you can just be sitting on your couch and you can look at it, and you don't have to worry about open up a big map or anything like that. So I look at it all the time. I'll be sitting somewhere or whatever, and Facebook is boring. That game on my phone is boring. I'll pop up events and look at the Central Hills or whatever, and all this other stuff. So if anybody has any other questions on the Lead and Deadwood area as far as riding goes, you can hit me up, Twisted Metal Power Sports, or just personally Brad Easton. You can PM me. It's not a bad way to get out towards the west, out to Cement Ridge and stuff. Out there, you can go down through Cheyenne and go up to Savoy and take the 222 out to Rough Lock Falls, and that pretty much will lead you right out to Cement Ridge. It's a really good spot out there also. So that's kind of my video on the northern hills up the Dead and Leadwood area. Like I said, you get up into that area of Camp 5 down to Galena and stuff. It works out really nice. I mean, you can kind of see here, my cursor is on the Camp 5 area. You can see the Deadwood and Lead area on there. And then you can kind of see where this other blue mark is just above Brownsville. That's the Strawberry Hill area there. That's kind of your first trail system directly south of Lead and Deadwood, just right off of 385. So obviously the farther south you go and stuff, you start getting into the purple stuff, the restrictions and whatnot. So if you guys got any other questions, go ahead and hit me up, and we'll go from there. Thanks.